Temperatures here in Charlotte are still in the 20s and falling.
Our team coverage of this extreme cold continues right now with Brody O'Connell. He's live outside our studios.
Brody, we know homeowners have been dealing with some broken pipes this morning. You found one homeowner, Brody, who made a $300 mistake, a mistake just about anybody could make.
Yeah, Paul, that's exactly right. Really, any homeowner who has a hose, that could happen to them. Here's what happened today. We found a homeowner. He left his hose attached to a faucet outside just like this. And what happened was the water inside the hose, it froze, expanded, and his pipe ended up bursting. Now, we were with Benjamin Franklin Plumbing today when they went out and made the repair. And as you can imagine, with these freezing temperatures we've had all day, it wasn't the only call they had to make. Below freezing temperatures, and these guys are busy. On the road with Benjamin Franklin Plumbing this morning, didn't take long to get our first call.
It's like it was coming through the walls.
Hal Shute was getting ready for work when he heard water rushing under his house.
I stepped outside here and walked over to the faucet. I could hear the water under the house spraying, so I knew it was a busted pipe.
Around back, the source of the problem quickly diagnosed. Shute made the mistake of leaving his hose attached to his outside spigot. Our plumber, Michael Buckley, goes under the crawl space for a closer look.
Actually, there's water against the flooring.
He reappeared minutes later with his findings.
That PEX expanded and burst, and I think, preventatively, if that hose wasn't on there, that's why I think it iced up from the hose and worked its way up through the copper, and then right as it goes from copper to PEX, the PEX blew out the side. Shute's faucet needed replaced. Bust out the torch, and then, moments later, the switch was made. Easy enough, but the ordeal cost Shute approximately $300. For Shute, lesson learned. For those of you at home, with temperatures diving again tonight, remember this simple advice. Definitely unhook all your hoses. Make sure none of them are attached to any fixtures. And then closing the vents and getting some covers to cover the outside of the hose spigot, and that'll save you a lot of plumbing problems.
Advice that could save you hundreds of dollars. All right, I got this hose. I'm going to take it inside with me. For those of you at home, next commercial break, go outside and make sure that hose is not attached. It could save you a couple $100. Now, as you can imagine, the home we went to today, this isn't the only place it happened. Our Pamela Escobar standing by. She found out this happened in dozens of other places across town. Pam?
Yeah, Brody, plenty of people had issues with pipes today. And normally, if it's an issue at your home, you call a plumber to fix it. But if it's an issue with the actual water or sewer system, you're asked to call 311. And according to the city, 122 people called for service related to water compared to the normal 30-some calls that they get. Now, utility workers for the city responded to water calls, and then utility crews for Duke Energy responded to power issues. About 2,000 families were without power and were in the cold, and the power company asked the rest of us to conserve our power by turning down the thermostat a degree or two. Now, it may seem odd that the power company is asking you to turn down the heat when you need it the most, but a company spokesperson explained it's about maintaining the grid that's under a lot of stress across the East Coast.
There are systems in place to manage the grid. There are standards in place through various federal agencies and voluntary agencies among utilities where we have ways to shed load in a way that protects the system and takes power off in a mandatory way. They're called really rotating blackouts.
Now, rotating blackouts are really just a worst case scenario, and Duke Energy says they haven't actually had to resort to them, at least in the last 2 decades. As for conserving power, they say that they may ask you to do it again tonight, depending on how cold it gets. Reporting live in West Charlotte, Pamela Escobar, WBTV on your side.
Pamela, thank you. So far, only Mitchell County schools have announced a 2-hour delay for tomorrow. If any other districts announce changes tonight, we will keep you updated. You can always check WBTV.com/closings.